Have you guys ever torture tested a robotic vacuum? Well, that's what we're going to do today, and we'll see if this budget robot can actually help automate mundane tasks. All right, let's unbox this robotic vacuum. Looks like we've got the charging and self-emptying station. Got the little charging contacts right here. This is the suction port, and then if we open this, we've got the little dust bag that it empties the vacuum into. Came with a packet of additional bags. All right, we got a quick start guide. Got a little remote control. Got the user's guide. Here's the robot itself. Came with an additional air filter. This looks to be a cleaning brush to clean off hair and tangles and whatnot. And then we got a quantity of 4 of these edge sweeping brushes, it looks like. The vacuum itself is pretty sleek looking. Looks like some kind of LiDAR or navigation up here on the top. On the front here, we've got a side camera, an array of additional cameras and sensors here in the front. Another side camera. This bumper moves, so if it crashes into something, it notices that. On the back side, there's this little lever right here that you push, and this whole thing comes out. And this looks to me like the dust box, as well as the water reservoir. And this is the bottom side. We've got the mop pad. We've got this central brush roll right here. These look to be the drive wheels. Got a little swivel wheel up here in the front. Just install these side brushes. They just very easily snap on to their respective locations. And then there are release tabs down here. One right here, one right here. So when you're ready to clean carpet, you can just squeeze those and remove the mop assembly. This does not have an automatic lifting mop pad. On the front of the vacuum, we just have 2 buttons. The power button that allows you to manually start and stop it from the vacuum, and the home button which sends it back to its charging dock. All right, opening the app here, you can see that the vacuum is fully charged. We don't have any kind of mapping or anything, so we're going to do a fast build map and see what it does. And no, the gate is not up for the vacuum. We have a little person that we need to keep out of that area. All right, let's just follow along the mapping process and see what happens. Okay, crazy but true. I think it did it. Let's let it run cycle here. We're going to be in sweeping mode. We're going to have the fan be in normal mode, and we can't adjust anything else because we don't have the mop. So we'll go ahead and hit start cleaning. Fits really well in spaces that usually don't get vacuumed, so that's nice. Let's see what it does when it hits the carpet here. See if it can detect that it's moved off a hard surface. Oh yeah, it does. Oh, listen to that. Well, that's very cool. It can detect what kind of surface it's on, and it adjusts its suction appropriately. Very, very cool. Things are somewhat organized, but there's a lot of obstacles. Let's see how it does. I'm going to speed you guys up a little bit. Alright, just finished cleaning. It was very effective, very efficient. I love the patterns that it did as it went very systematically, you know, back and forth across the floor. Very, very thorough. It's returning to the dock now. Yep. Let's look in its dustbin and see if it got everything out. And just a quick observation, I don't have any pets, but my wife has long hair, and I don't know if you can see or not, but already just with that first cleaning, I've got hair wrapped around the brush here. Now it comes with the tool to extract those and cut them off, but I know there are some setups out there where the brush roll kind of has anti-tangle technology. This one does not have that, obviously. I've already got some hair tangled up on it. Let's take a look inside. It did very, very well. There's a little bit of dust on this pre-filter, and then there's a few minor little dust bunnies that fell off that pre-filter when I opened it up. But aside from that, everything got removed very nicely from the dustbin. All right, let's test the mopping capability. You just simply open this plug right here, fill it on up. All right, let's install the mop pad. That's simply done by turning this tank upside down, and then you just simply sit this on and slide it until it clicks into place like that. And we'll simply reinstall it here on the machine.
Dragging indicated mode.
Recognize that I put that on with some water. All right, before I start mopping, I need to set a no mopping zone because I've got a rug right there, and this does not have any kind of self-lifting pads, so we need to tell it not to mop here. So in order to do that, I need to just come into here. The little icon with the little water droplet is a no-go mop zone. You can add a no-go sweep or mop zone and a virtual wall. So what we're going to do is go ahead and do the no-go mop zone. This right here. And it looks like you can just drag it around, which is nice. So we're going to mark the whole area from the side of that couch over to that leg, and we can actually kind of see that the leg is that little dark spot on the map right there. The edge of the couch is where it ends. In fact, I'm going to move this forward just a teeny bit like that. Now that's cool. You can push and hold. I didn't know that. Like this. And then you can fine tune and really dial it in with these controls. That's very handy. I'm happy with that. Let's save it. So we're going to have a no mop zone there. So let's go ahead and swipe up here. Notice that now that we've added the water, it recognizes that there's water in the tank. So of course we want to go high water out, right? And let's clean and see what happens. Notice that it is not coming up on the rug anymore. So that's good. So the no mop zone seems to be functioning. Okay guys, I am seeing a little bit of moisture there. You can see a little bit of reflection off of it there on the floor. It's not dripping wet, nor does it need to be that wet. But I am seeing moisture on the floor here. Yep, see that? So it is mopping. Looks like I need to adjust my no mop zone a little bit. It is mopping the edge of my rug just a little bit, but I was pretty darn close. Let's put you guys on time lapse here. So as you saw, it does that back and forth motion along the perimeter of the rug, and then it did a lot more of a systematic mop across the entire floor. But if I can get the reflection right, you can see the floor's drying, but it got it nice and wet. Again, not dripping wet, but plenty wet to mop. Very impressive. All right, just finished mopping. First observation, notice the water level right about there. So it used about a third of its water to mop the floor around here. Not too bad. It's a small space, but it could easily probably go 3 times as much without needing to be filled up. In terms of cleaning, it's just attached with what appears to be, some kind of Velcro stuff. And then let's slide the mop off here. Notice that this side is blocked right there, but this side is open. So this pad will just slide right off like that, and you can go ahead and throw it in the wash or whatever. And then when it comes time to reinstall the mop pad, it's very easy. You just take this and feed it back through that little notch, like so, and flip it over, and it Velcros on, and you're good to go for the next time. Now, something to keep in mind, this has no way of drying the mop on its own, neither does it have a way of emptying the water tank. So there is going to be some intervention you need to do personally with the robot to help maintain the mop after it's been wet, to avoid it going moldy or building up nasty stuff in this moist mop and in the tank. A few final comments on this app. You can set up room preferences. So in my case, I just have one big room here, but that you can decide if it sweeps and mops, or if it's mop only, if it does it once or twice, the speed at which the fan runs, and how much water it mops with. And that can be done on a room by room basis. And then down here, you can clean by room. So you have multiple rooms, and you just need it to focus on one area. You can just have to do the one room. You can do the whole thing with all, or you can do a specific zone, and you can see it create a little area. So you're able to draw and expand this zone, and just target a specific area if you'd like. Up here on this little gear icon, we can tap that. Dust collecting bucket, here we're able to tell it how many times we want it to automatically empty, and then you can also trigger a manual dust extraction or turn it off so it doesn't do it. Map settings, you're able to configure different maps. So here's with the map with the no mopping zone, and then there's the map prior to that without the no mopping zone, and you can pick between those, which is pretty cool. Smart clean settings, configure do not disturb times, as well as schedule specific cleaning. So you can do either the whole thing or by room, tell it what time, what day, are we sweeping, are we mopping, are we sweeping and mopping. So that's a nice automation there. Consumable maintenance. This is cool. This tells you and reminds you to change the filters, the side brushes, the brush roll. Remote control, so you can, watch this. I can control it on my phone, so if there's just a specific little mess that you want to just hurry and pick up, you can run it with your phone. That's cool. Voice settings, so you're able to configure different languages for how the robot speaks, as well as adjust the volume. You can share the device, a clean history, so this tells us how many times it's cleaned. Help, we've got support information here, so you can reach out to their support. And that's it. Torture test time. So we've got 4 different materials, and forgive me because I only have neutral colors in my house, so things hide on it. But I've got chunky stuff on carpet. I've got coarse sand grains here on the carpet. I've got some light flour, and then over here we've got some grains of rice. And then on the hard surface, we've got rice here, We've got some flour right there. It's really, really hard to see, but we've got the coarse sand here on the hard surface as well, plus then some coarse material. I'm going to torture this little guy and see how well it handles those different materials. I'm going to leave it on normal mode just because that's what the majority of you are going to be using. Here we go. Okay, here comes on some of the rice. Cleaned up some of it got flicked out of the way, quite a bit of it got flicked out of the way. It comes on the carpet. Left quite a few behind. Let's let it go on another pass. Here comes the flour. Left some behind. Picked up a few rice kernels, but still gone. There's a little more flour right there. It's going to make another pass over it. There's still some in the grout lines. Coming up to the sand on the hard surface. Ooh, it's picking up some, but a lot of it is flipping out by the brushes. Let's see how it does on the carpet. I didn't have a chance to speed up. Let's let it be in a harder section here. Still left some behind. Here's the Cheerios. Pick those up. Picked all the Cheerios up off the ground on the carpet, no problem. It did flip one over there from the hard surface with its side brushes. And it says it's done. Let's take a look at the results. We'll check and see if it was able to extract everything from that dustbin. But it flipped the rice like crazy on the hard surfaces here. Did a little better job on the carpet, not flipping it as much, and picking more of it up. Same issue with the sand. It flipped the coarse sand all over the place on the hard surface as well. There's definitely less of it, but there's still quite a bit left. It also flipped one of the Cheerios out of the way. It did fairly good with the flour, and coming up here to the rug, you can see it left a lot embedded in the rug still. And that might just be because it has limited suction, right? And then you can see over here where the sand was, can you see those grains still stuck in the carpet? So once again, probably not enough suction to lift them out going the speed that it's going. Let's see if Unit was able to extract everything from the dustbin. So for the most part, the fluffy stuff got extracted, but we do have some leftover rice and one of the Cheerios still. I'm gonna have that vacuum go over the same test area one more time, but this time I'm changing it to max fan speed. See if that makes any difference in cleaning up the rest of the stuff here. Okay, much better. Far less stuff. There's still a few little grains of mostly sand that probably got flipped around. Also along the edge right here, there's some rice and sand that didn't get picked up. However, the carpet is looking substantially better, with the exception of here it is better than it was, but the flour is still embedded down in the carpet. It picked up substantially more of the sand out of the carpet though this time. The additional Cheerio got picked up as well. So if you have big messes that you're wanting this to try to clean up, go ahead and bump it up to max mode. That seems to work a lot better. Tesvor, if there's a possibility of configuring something in the app with an update or something to allow the side brushes to adjust their speed a little bit so you don't have as much flipping, I think that would make it substantially better for some of those messes that we're dealing with. So leave me your comments, guys, on what you think of this setup. It's really impressive to me that you can get a very capable robotic vacuum that also mops, that also has a self-emptying docking station for less than $250, normal pricing, and I've even seen it on sale for sub $200 before. When you compare that to the many $1,000 high-end robotic vacuums that do very similar things, albeit maybe a little bit more, like drying the mop pad and maybe switching the water out automatically for you, maybe self-raising mop pads, I've seen that as well. So there are certain things that those bring to the table, but for something that still does the bulk of those chores with just a little added intervention from you for a fraction of the price, I think this has merit. This is not going to replace a full-size normal vacuum, to be clear, but this is perfect for just general maintenance and keeping dirt and dust down, so you don't have to vacuum with your big vacuum as frequently, or mop as frequently. So, there's some limitations, as is with everything, but I would say it's very capable and very good at what it does for a very, very good price. Let me know if you agree down in the comments. If you can't tell, I do more real-world testing and information than most people do on YouTube. This was so much more than, unboxing a product and going over its specs and saying it looks cool. We actually put it through its paces. If that's of value to you, please be sure and do 4 free things for me. Give me a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and share. for 100% free things for you to do. It really benefits the channel tremendously. We live in a world filled with paywalls and subscriptions, and I love free content. If you love free content as well, please do those 4 free things on your end to help keep this content coming. Sure appreciate all you guys, and we'll catch y'all next time.